So I guess from my perspective, because I'm biased obviously, but I'm an ecologist, and so clearly I think that plants and soils and the interactions among plants and soils really matter when we're thinking about our planet. It's our only planet. An example that I like to use is that you walk on soil every day, all the time, and you don't really think very much about just how powerful soils are. And one of the ways that you can think about soils is if you breathe in, you inhale, and you exhale, all the time, and you do this to stay alive. And when you're walking on soils, what you may not be thinking about is that there are millions and millions of microorganisms that are also inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide as part of the process for them to stay alive. And so in many ways, the soils are the lungs of our planet. Building on that, why we should care about plants, of course, is because plants rely on soils directly and immediately. The reasons why this exercise are, in my mind, really exciting and useful are a number of them. First, this is an ecosystem that's right in our backyard, and it's a stunning ecosystem. In fact, in a lot of ecology books that I teach with, they use the Sonoran Desert as an example. And so data that you are going to be collecting and that students would be collecting from this project are really relevant to studies that people care about across the world, and really relevant to studies that we use in textbooks as examples. So why should you care about plants? They, of course, photosynthesize, and through that process create the oxygen that we need to breathe. Why should you care about these plants? Because they're incredibly diverse, and there are a lot of species of these plants that are only found in this ecosystem. So they're only found in this area, and they're not found in other parts of the world. These plants, because they live in such stressful conditions, have come up with a number of different ways to make a living, right? And in order to tolerate the high temperatures and the high UV radiation and the low water availability. And I like to think about these plants not just as organisms on their own, but as individuals that are themselves host to millions of other microorganisms like the bacteria and the fungi that are living in and on their leaf tissue and in their roots. And those microorganisms are helping plants survive.